Once again, it's on. Check it out, man. It's your man LP with another episode of LPs and Books. And today, the book of choice is Armed with Good Intentions. That's right, by your man Wallow, Mr. Wallow 267. $500,000 worth of game. You seen him, you know him all over IG, all over the internet, all over doing speeches. The Hustler, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Wallow 267. Armed with good intentions. Let's get it. LPs and Books. Welcome back to a new episode of LPs and Books. Check it out first and foremost. Do your man a favor. Please hit the follow button. Please hit the like button so we can grow. You know what I'm saying? We can continue to bring these books to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? Because some of us, we love books. And I just want to share some of the dope books that I listen to since it's such one of my favorite pastimes. So, with that being said, man, let's tap into what's been going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? Since my last episode. So, with that, man, first and foremost, I'd like to say rest in peace to my big cousin Doris. You know what I'm saying? My big cousin, she passed away yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And had a long, bout with cancer, and she passed yesterday. So I just want to send my love and condolences to all of my family and everybody who love Big Cuz, you know what I'm saying? So pray for my family, man. We love you, Doris Graham. Rest in peace. And as in Islam, we say, Inna lillahi wa inna lillahi raji'un. You know what I'm saying? Which means we came from Allah and we have to return to Allah. So rest in peace to my big cousin. Also, man, unfortunately, we got to start with other deaths. You know what I'm saying? The actor John Amos. You know what I'm saying? Mr. McDowell. You know what I'm saying? The Good Times and all that. You feel me? There were some other ones, but I can't remember since my last episode. There's such a space between. So, for all that we lost, man, I just want to say rest in peace. And speaking of, all of those types of things, I had a health scare of my own, which has caused a little gap between these episodes. So just mentally and everything, focusing on that. And what happened is a scare for something that turned out to be minor, scared me in the right direction because prior to I was feeling something in my abdomen. So I went to the doctor thinking it was a hernia or what have you, and got my blood work and different things like that, and everything was cool on that end. So, but the beautiful thing about it is for the first time in my life, actually, I actually have went and got my own family physician. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm linked up. Anything going on with me, I'm just going straight there. So you know what I'm saying? Oftentimes, for whatever reason, when we know we may have something wrong with us, we don't get the proper checkups, which is step one. And then for two, we don't act on it until it breaks us all the way down. And by then, often it's too late. So I just encourage everybody, you know what I'm saying, to get your checkups and, do what we can to take better care of our health. You know what I'm saying? So just thankful that what was a scare pushed me in the right direction. And I'm just going to try to vow to do better moving forward because I have like high cholesterol. So I got to get back exercising and all that good stuff. So we're looking forward to tapping into that to begin the week. You feel me? So now, since we've been going, obviously there's a lot more Diddy news. It's so much that I can't, pardon me, I can't even keep up with it all. But something like 100 and something more allegations and all types of other things going on there. Me personally, I'm not active with certain things. I like to wait till they're done. You know what I'm saying, and then uh, get the book. You feel me? Personally, I like for when everything's really wrapped up and all of the facts of some type of current goings on are done, and then later a book comes about it. That's me personally, or at least till everything is, the case is done, or whatever, and then everything is broken down. That's how I do personally. So I'm not so attached in that case until we get concrete things. You feel me? Also, Beyonce got snubbed from the Grammy nominations, which is weird if you ask me. One of the biggest hits of the year with the album in general, as well as the Texas Hold'em and the I know that was big, at least a huge hit with that. Um, it's crazy because that'll tie into what I'm doing actually personally with the music that I'm currently listening to, mixing it up right now, which I'm gonna get into when I finish this episode. You feel me? So here's the interesting thing about Beyonce being snubbed. So prior to her involvement in country music, I had never listened. You know what I'm saying? My wife is a country music fan, but I always tuned it out when she played it. So when Beyonce put it down, I listened to the album, and from that, I branched off into some of the artists that's on the album. I become a huge Shabuzi fan. You know what I'm saying? He's the first one to come to mind. There's another one on there that I know I rock with, but I definitely Beyonce led me to Shabuzi, right? So not only that, I'm being part of these record pools and what have you. I've amassed a nice amount of country records that I just never tapped into. And one batch in particular got like all the current vibes. And within that, I built my vibe of country. And none of that would be possible had I not listened to Beyonce. So the Lainey Wilsons, the Jason Aldeans, the Luke Bryans, all of these artists that I now have in my arsenal, I would have never have had that if it wasn't for the impact that Beyonce uh, uh, put on country music. You know what I'm saying? I guess they don't want us still. Is that? But anyway, the interesting thing about that is I'm currently working on two mixes that's going to blend country and pop. So, of these country records that I just told you about that I love, all off being influenced from Beyonce, I'm going to put those together with some of my favorite pop records going back to the 90s on up to like current and make a nice vibe with that. I got two sets I'm going to do with that. So, we get into that after this. So, check your boy out. LP space the space selector on SoundCloud. LP the selector on SoundCloud. I got plenty of mixes up over there. Tap in and vibe with your boy. So something else interesting that has been taking place, and I don't know what to make of it because it's over my head. But the music business, all of these different CEOs are stepping down. I don't know what that means, but a lot of that's happening. You feel me? And in other news, the Chicago great, the legend himself, Mr. Derrick Rose, has retired after 16 seasons in the NBA. Where do I start? I'm from Rockford, Illinois, and we loosely take pride in all of our successful people, in particular from my town. That's a very small number, you know what I'm saying? But even within Chicago, we Rockford, Illinois, hour away from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So even with the Chicago athletes, we take pride in them. But for instance, your Derrick Roses, your Donovan McNabbs, I think Iguodala is from Illinois. Fro from Golden State. Sean Livingston's Illinois. Tony Allen, Dwayne Wade, Isaiah Thomas, so on and so forth, are from Chicago. However, this guy, born and bred, you know what I'm saying, and he actually got to put it down in Chicago. So the love that we have for him is unlike any other. And me personally, I love him more than Mike. Again, because he's us. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to everything Mike did, but as a player and as a personality, and how he went about doing things, I'll just give him equal with Mike. We can't argue with the 6 rings, but right behind Mike and in there with him, Mike and Scotty, those guys, 1A, 1B, 1C, if you ask me, in terms of my love as being a Bulls fan. So he was born and bred there and he got to play there. So our love for him is different than our love for D Wade or Isaiah or everybody else who played Antoine Walker, everybody else who played everywhere else. You see what I'm saying? So big love for him, man. Phenomenal player. Uh, in terms of histories robbing players, my top two, uh, of all time is him and Penny Hardaway. You know what I'm saying? I loved Penny. Penny was fantastic. He was phenomenal. I just loved his passing the ball, phenomenal scoring talent. 6'7", 6'8". You know what I'm saying? His and Grant Hill, those three hurt me the most. You know what I'm saying? Because once Derrick Rose got hurt at the time where uh, I can't imagine all the pressure he had for one, playing at home, and then for two, dealing with the injuries, trying to get healthy, as well as dealing with that pressure. Unfortunately, maybe he came back earlier than he should have, or whatever the case may be. But once we saw that he was going to be in the 6 man type of a situation, he made the most of that in Minnesota, as you know what I'm saying, Detroit. He may have started in some of those places as well. In New York, obviously, Memphis. So um, I just wish that Cleveland as well during that journey, one of the championship type teams would have, pulled my man over there because it could have been productive for plenty of these teams that don't want to chip easily. You feel me? So, shouts out to Derrick Rose, man. The only other player that's deep to my heart like that is from my hometown, Mr. Fred Van Vliet. You know what I'm saying? Who ended up being an NBA champion, is currently still doing his thing in the league, and we'd like to see him back on that championship status again too before his career is over with. So shouts out to Van Vliet, shouts out to Derrick Rose, man, Chi Town's finest. So let's chop it up about Wallow for a second, and what led me to even uh, want to grab the book. First and foremost, that's what I want to talk about. Within the last month, there has been a book feast. You know what I'm saying? A feast on new books. So I copped one, two, I got like 4 new books that have all been released within the last month. So that's a beautiful thing for me with what I'm doing here because I get to catch a good current flow. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the search engines will hit harder with the books being so current. So stay tuned because the next 4 to 5 books will have all good current releases. You know what I'm saying? One of them released about a year ago, but the next 3 to 4 books should be all new releases, and they should be pretty interesting. One of them already checked out. That's gonna be the next episode. I like that too. But let's tap into Wallow. So so I follow Gilly. I follow several people on Instagram. I follow so many people. It keeps the timeline interesting with all types of funny type things I like to whatever. And Gilly has always been a personality, right? So I don't know if it was right at. I had to been following him before for one. It goes back to him being a rapper. I liked a few of his rap cuts and what have you. And again, he just been a personality on IG prior to Wallow. I think shortly before Wallow. Yeah, I think believe shortly. Well, I know I was listening to checking because he was doing the little videos and he was right. You know what I'm saying? He was just doing that. Then when Wallow got out, they kind of hit the ground running. and we saw the two of them together often, and got introduced on how that's his cousin and this, that, and the third, and then all the next thing you know, they're moving around, putting all types of things on the net, and then they came with their podcast, and I was a listener from day one. And the funny thing about we'll get into that later in the book, but I was a listener from day one. It was him. It was Wallow, Gilly. First day one on $1 million worth of game podcast. It was Wallow, Gilly, and I think the other guy name was Devin, and I believe it was his studio or something. But from day one, it was magic. You know what I'm saying? I was a fan of the podcast from day one. When it was just them three, the personalities bouncing off each other was hilarious. The guy Devin was hilarious. You know what I'm saying? But then one thing led to another, and I think when they started getting some motion, things went left between them and Devin. And then also in those earlier rounds after Devin, I remember them having "Don't Call Me White Girl" on the show, and then Tony the closer. This is for all the people who go way back with on Gilly on Gilly podcast, and I remember having them on there along the way, and they always have like a section giving us game on how to get certain little businesses started and different things like that. So that was one of the unique things about the podcast in its early days. You know what I'm saying? And then that grew and grew, and Wallow as a personality, he just draws you into him because for one, he's funny. He's got incredible energy, and then he's always spitting some game. And then they are nuts. But the two of them together are nuts, and they're really funny. But they are nuts with the cousin chemistry. You know what I'm saying? So been tapped in with him for a while. You know what I'm saying? Early back to when he was selling his T-shirts and different things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And doing all the videos, running in the rain and running in the snow with no shirt off, doing push-ups, and hey, laying there with the fake blood on him and all this weird stuff that he used to do. I was tapped in way back then and just saw them grow and grow and grow, and it's been a beautiful thing, man, to see them excel the way they do, and gives those of us who entered the space a lot of hope within seeing ourselves in that position one day. So shouts out to Wallow and Gilly with $1 million worth of game. You know what I'm saying? So now let's tap into the book. So